listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner. I know you were thinking it was Charles Aznavour, but no, it's Frank Skinner. And I'm with, I like Charles. I prefer Charles to Charles.
Yeah.
Prince Charles. Come on, can't go wrong. This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Don't call.
Well, we've had some... Do you want to hear some of the correspondence we've had already?
Yes, of course.
OK, let's kick us off with 848. Morning, Frank and the gang. Whatever happened to DOS houses?
Straight out of the blocks.
Yeah, I thought we'd start off with that.
Have they gone, DOS houses?
I don't think
Well, it was
so.
sort of halfway house, weren't they?
They've probably been rebranded like
Yeah.
Snickers or something.
It's not like there's any shortage of rough sleepers, so they must
No.
still exist in some form.
Opal fruits and Starburst.
DOS
For Gen Zers and millennials who may not be familiar with the concept
Who's
of a DOS
Gen
house.
Zers?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the generation 2 before you.
Wow.
2 after you, I'm sorry.
after me.
How would you describe a DOS house, Frank?
Well, I think of it as a place where people go who don't have anywhere else to go, and that's where they sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How would you describe it?
Yeah.
See, DOSing was
I
a
think-
thing. DOSing was an activity when people would say, "Why don't you come round my house? We can have a DOS."
Yeah,
And that just meant sat around doing nothing.
yeah.
Yeah. I think, I would say that...
Oh, we did it by appointment.
Yeah, dossing out was a thing. Dossing out. Just like chilling out.
Oh, no,
Like-
they were places
Dossing
where
about.
my father used to call them gentlemen of the road.
Yeah,
They would often
Right, yeah,
pitch
yeah.
up there.
yeah, indeed.
But yeah, I don't know what's happened to them.
I think they've been called something else because DOS houses sounds just a bit too Great Depression.
Yeah.
But good call.
We've also had...
I should say we have a regular theme on the show, whatever
Yeah.
happened to, where people suggest things that have just...
gone.
Yeah, like I was thinking the other day, here we go, we have a jingle.
Whatever happened to
Red Eye
Oh, yeah.
on pictures. I haven't seen that for...
Oh, yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, have they done something to cameras to stop that happening?
I think so. Well, you can do it anyway with all the filters now. I'm sure they don't. But yeah, you never see red eye, do you?
Well, I
I've
used
seen
to
that for
love it. You
years.
used to get... like the dog, take a picture of your dog and it got
yeah.
blue. It looked like Paul Newman. They didn't get red eye. They'd have bright... I got pictures of... We had like a Staffordshire Bull Terrier with these beautiful blue eyes
Really?
glaring out. Yeah.
Blue
Which he
eyed
didn't
dog.
have.
Disney
He didn't
anime.
have. I didn't
That
have red
sounds
eyes most of the time. Yeah, so that's gone.
An eagle-eyed reader of the show, Sylvie, has sent us an email titled The Conga. You do bring up the Conga a lot. Dear Frank et al., the Conga has featured many times on the show, often memories about its former glory years.
Yes, I'm an enthusiast.
So I hope it pleases Frank to know it was revived last week after FC Bayern Munich secured the German league title. The players performed the conga in front of the fans with the leader holding a cardboard cutout of the trophy. As the match was played away from Bayern Stadium, I'd like to think the middle eight contained a tribute to the losing home team.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Good old Bayern Munich.
Yeah, as they
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
And the slightly mournful middle eight.
Yeah.
But of course, the German national team adopted Three Lions when they won Euro '96. So I
Did
feel
they?
musically, I have
they?
to. Yeah, they sang it on the. You know, when they have those big like the teams on the balcony and there's
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of people. They sang "Football's Coming Home" because they felt that was its home.
Frank Skinner, big in Germany.
Yeah, it got to number 17 in the chart. Yeah,
I love that you still remember that.
I think they felt it was on the invoice. I think they felt that they'd also won the song as well as what in the
In a
tournament.
way.
Tournament includes song in brackets.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had quite a lot, Frank. We won't read it to you, but we've had quite a lot of praise for your portrayal of Johnny Cash, including the following email. Dear Frank, dear Emmy and Alan, does the recent advertising campaign of Frank's portrayal of Johnny Cash go a long way to dispel the myth that Frank is a one-trick pony when it comes to American accents?
Yes.
You do have a theory that you only do that
I only do Wild West Old Timer, but Johnny Cash is he's not a million miles from Wild West Old Timer. I just had to move him a bit further south.
Good.
But you're right, Al.
Well, it's not me, it's Adam, who continues in his email. Also, like you, Frank, he now lists several things that he's got in common with you. I'm an avid viewer of the weather reports on Sky News Breakfast. My life would not be complete without tuning in. You could say that I, too, am a dedicated follower of the Nazarene. Finally, I think the answer is...
Is this a date or something?
Close to it.
It's going well.
Yeah.
But finally, we've got a whatever happened to. I think the answer is obvious, but whatever happened to stadium PAs alerting men to the impending birth of their child? Adam. Do you remember those used
Yes,
to
you still get that, don't you?
Why ask that? Well, the one I always quote was, I must have told you this, I was at West Brom and we'd lost 2-0 to Nottingham Forest, I think it was. And everyone was pretty, as you imagine, quite cheesed off as we left. And the voice said, Mr. Blah, 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 please come to blah blah blah, whatever his name was. Your wife has given birth to a baby boy in West Bromwich, whatever the hospital's called.
Yeah.
And an old guy said to me, he says, "Oh, poor devil." He said he sat through this lot. Now he's got to go home and make his own tea. The idea that he might have been going to the hospital never even occurred to the bloke. But yeah, they did used to announce it. What? So you said, what do you think?
Oh, I love childbirth Elzo in style.
Adam thinks the answer is obvious, but whatever happened to stadium PAs alerting men to...
Why is it obvious?
I don't know what his obvious guess is.
Because men are at the birth nowadays.
No, it's because they get
maybe.
texted, presumably.
Maybe.
Well, they have phones, so you wouldn't need the tannoy to tell you.
I was with Frank. I thought it was because men are just, constantly traipsing around behind the pregnant lady going, do you need anything? Is there like this?
It's 'cause they've got phones.
Depends on the
Different role
importance
now.
of the match.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd be happy to go and watch a birth instead of any of the West Brom games of recent times. Anybody's birth, actually, if anyone's looking for some
celebrity fan.
Extraordinary shout-out.
Celebrity attendant for their birth.
Imagine if that was on your list of things that
It
you'll
could be
do.
me, celebrity doula.
Yeah.
Will drive self.
Push. Yes.
Easy,
Fine, we've had another Whatever Happened To from Stuart Potter.
That is a good. I like that. Whatever happened to that? Because that's a good obscure one. I mean, the reasons for it not happening, I think, are interesting. Sorry, Emily.
Well, we've got Whatever Happened to Candles in Empty Wine Bottles. I think you still get that. I still see that. What do you think?
Not in my house.
Wasn't it? Is that? Is that yet another Elton John version?
He really did a lot of rewrites on that song.
Yeah, he did. He worked it well. I should say, in reference to the Johnny Cash thing is on Sky. I mean, me playing Johnny Cash. I did just want to mention that my road manager in that show is played by Alex Beckett, who died very suddenly this week at the age of 36, and he was fantastic company to have around and so brilliant. And as an actor, sometimes you're with people and they've got that much talent, it just crackles like electricity. And he was a brilliant actor, and he will be very, very missed indeed.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what, do you remember a few weeks ago I discovered what pleather was?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do.
I'm
It
not
was quite the morning.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that badly. I mean, pleather, it's a fabric. It's a combination of plastic and leather, as you may have. It's a portmanteau word. That's what it is. I passed a woman this morning. It was a bit chilly as I walked in this morning, and she was very warmly dressed. Is puffer, is that a fabric? Would you speak of... You know when people wear a puffer jacket?
Yes.
Are they talking about that sort of panelled, quilted thing? Is that puffer? Could I get a puffer upholstery in my car, for example?
Oh, I see. If you requested it like that. No, it's.
Yeah, if I requested it like that.
Yeah, if you requested it like that.
I didn't mean to sound quite so disparaging. I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, I suppose there's some sort of synthetic material inside.
But what is a puffer jacket then?
I think it's a brand name.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
But it's fine to not know that. Remember we had an episode where I thought a slazenger was an actual animal. And,
yeah.
And I felt a fool.
So you're suggesting it's puffer TM?
Well, we still don't know what the animal is on a slazenger.
No, we don't.
No. But we think it's not a puma. That's our theory.
Did you look nice in the puffer?
No.
Oh. Was it sleeveless?
It was it was completely.
Gilet.
It was full length.
Can I just say, great use of gilet from the cockerel?
Yeah. I've recently acquired I thought I would never own one because I don't really ride a horse, but I've acquired a sleeveless puffer.
Have you?
Recently.
Yeah, I've got one. Lovely, aren't they?
Red, mine is.
Am I the only one in the gang without a sleeve?
Red. That's quite outre.
Yeah. Well, I've got a green T-shirt, and I thought I could sort of rock a Robin the Boy Wonder 1960s kind of like. I might have the twin curls. You know, he used to have twin curls on his fringe.
Don't know that, but
Lisa Stansfield. Imagine if Lisa Stansfield had, she had a double, a twin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, that wouldn't work. If she thought, I'll go for two curls, so she moved one to one side and then brought another one in. I remember when people used to drive cars and they used to have the names of the bloke and his girlfriend on sun strips. If I'd have been Lisa Stansfield, I'd have had a big curl on the top of my side of the screen. I don't know why she didn't do that. She could have had one on the inside and hung maybe a magic tree on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had a request, sorry, Frank, for you to go to the impending birth of our next child.
Okay.
This is from 730.
I'll be there.
I also think his gittishness will help detract. Detract.
Oh, I thought you said, will help the tract. I thought, what am I supposed to do? Well, I'll be there. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
I'll keep the nails.
We'll share your details.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'll tell you what, the other week, last week, I think, I was pointing out that my 5-year-old asked me if all honey came from bees or if
Yes.
or it could be man-made. Can you still say man-made? Is that acceptable?
Person-made.
Yeah.
I think if we're going to Justin Trudeau it, person-made.
Okay. And we never really got to the bottom of it, I didn't think.
There was the great synthetic honey debacle, wasn't there?
Well, there was people saying the Chinese made synthetic honey, but there was some honey in it.
Yeah.
I mean, this week, he said to me, I didn't, we went away for a bit, so I didn't shave.
Right.
And
I quite like that.
Me too.
Dad on a mini break, not shaving.
Exactly.
Hello.
So I forgot the razor, I'll be straight with you.
Love that look.
I was giving him a bit of a kiddle, as I call it, which is a combination of a kiss and a coddle. My mum used to call it a kiddle.
Nice.
And he said to me, "Oh, you're really spiky." He said, "Will I have a beard when I grow up?" And I said, yeah, of course you are. He said, "Where is it now?" I just didn't have an answer. I mean, I didn't realise. You become a parent, you've got to be...
He's like a sort of Lil Jean-Paul Sartre.
You basically need a philosophy degree to answer that question.
No, I think isn't it biology? Isn't it biology, surely?
Oh, I'd say philosophy.
If anyone knows about these things...
philosophy enters that, I would agree, Al.
Yeah, definitely.
Where is Buzzy's beard now? 8, 12, 15.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We still don't have an answer yet to the question, where is Buzzy's beard?
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd like to be able to tell him this weekend, ideally. He woke up we were sleeping in the same room because I was on holiday, and he woke up and went, Yes. Hold on a minute.
Those moments are fun, aren't they?
Yeah. Like, that was it, though. That was his opening greeting of the day. Like, come on. What's happening? Anyway, I'm going off too much about my child. Although I tell you what I've been doing. I've been practicing some childhood activities that I haven't done for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Including, I rolled down a grass bank.
Oh, yeah. That'd be good fun.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, Boz was doing it quite a lot and really loving it. And then he said, "Come on, Daddy," he said, I thought, provocative way. And so I rolled down this quite steep bank, and I think it's when you put your arms above your sort of stretched full out, and you really let yourself go.
I was thinking more 70s TV cop, all hunched over.
No,
forward rolls.
Yeah, like I said, professionals.
I couldn't do. What do you think I am? A compulsive gambler?
Very
good.
No, so I rolled down. You remember him, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, and it actually really quite shook me up quite a lot.
Oh, really?
Did it?
Yeah, I felt awful. I mean, I put a brave face on it, but I could sort of feel my brain banging about. You know when you microwave a pork pie to melt the jelly? And the meat is
sort of... was an audience suggestion, I think.
It was,
years
yeah.
ago.
I suggested it was the meat version of a Coke float. So if you microwave a pork pie, the jelly melts and the ball of pork sort of bobs in the jelly sea. Mm-hmm. What you need is, I don't know, maybe a beef-based copy of the Titanic.
Right.
To approach in the sea of fat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what my brain felt like. I could hear it hitting the
But
insides
Frank, I feel
of
the
my
same
head.
when kids ask me to go on the trampoline.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's like
very
a
jolty
cranial trauma.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that to myself. It's horrible.
But I had to put a break. You know what I was saying last week? I reckoned I could jump off a train and I'd be all right with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've lost confidence in that. No. I actually felt, and not just I got a bit of a bang, from doing it. I felt sort of emotionally upset after I'd rolled down the bank.
How many times did you roll down there?
Just the once.
Oh, really?
Oh, don't make me go back there. It was quite a long, steep.
Was it?
Many rolls.
Did you feel like you'd had one of your falls?
I felt like for a short period like I was going to die.
Right.
Rolling down a bank.
Yeah, rolling down a bank. It's much more. I mean, I'm 61. Should I be rolling down a bank at my age?
Yeah, I'd say
If you
so,
take the
Would you roll down a
juxtaposition of
probably would.
over 60s travel card and rolling down a grass bank, I don't know if those two should ever be in juxtaposition. It was, yeah. So if there's any elderly people listening, don't do it unless it's accidental. I imagine if you're at, say, the badminton horse trials, it could happen accidentally. But I'm saying you'll get through it, but don't expect it to be pleasant. I think that's fair, isn't it? I've used that line before.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I tell you what I did. I went to the cinema at. I went to a 12:30 screening in the lunchtime.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love a bit of daytime.
Thought you meant late.
Yeah.
You really feel like you're.
Unemployed?
Yes. A friend of mine.
Beating the system.
A friend of
beating
mine
the
said
system.
they were in Leicester once, and they did that, and they saw World Cup winning goalkeeper Gordon Banks on his own at a lunchtime screening of Edward Scissorhands.
Who would have thought
Good
it?
me.
spot.
Yeah.
Nice and quiet as well, so you get a good seat.
I just think it was the hands thing. You probably thought, I'll go and have a look at that.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
Any hands-based stuff. Banksy was there. Banksy. He was the original Banksy, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, it was.
Yes. So it was, I still got the thrill. Do you remember this? The thrill of leaving a cinema and it's daylight.
Oh, yeah.
You still think,
Oh, yeah.
whoa! Who knew? Oh man, it was great.
Are we allowed to know what you saw?
I saw Peter Rabbit.
Oh.
It's
On,
good.
on your own?
No, I was with, no, I didn't.
Just him and Gordon Banks.
No, I just wanted to ascertain.
I dressed up as well. I just wore a blue jacket.
I do like
Nothing
the
else.
idea of you going on your own. See
That's
Peter
great.
Rabbit.
Yeah, I got a bit of spare time. I might go and catch up. I quite fancy that Peter Rabbit thing. It was good. I really enjoyed it. But I wouldn't have gone on my own. No. Although I quite like going to the cinema on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't like to be fretting about whether the other person's enjoying it all the time. But I tell you what, a result. When we got there, they said, do you want the VIP seats? It's £3 more. And I thought, I'm not paying £3 more. It's already about 30 quid.
Also, Al, I hope they didn't pause after telling you the price so that for a brief moment you thought, oh, they recognise me offering me the VIP seat.
No, I paused after the £3. I went, I said, no, we'll be fine. And then when we got in, we went to the seats we'd bought, which was like the normal seats, quite far back. And somebody, it looked like they just tipped out like 4 tubs of
Popcorn?
popcorn.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the bloke said, you can't come in here. Look at this mess. He said, please go to VIP seat.
Oh, result.
No, I thought, yes.
Yeah.
Imagine my delight. That's probably, I mean, that to me probably put 10% on the film.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Oh,
I mean, free little life upgrades.
anything.
Such a
That-
happy
You two
thrill.
enjoy things like that, don't
That
you?
thrill never goes
You
away.
love a Freebs. Of course,
fact-
I'd rather pay and not have the awkward interaction.
Yeah.
Always. I don't like freebies.
Oh, but I quite liked seeing all the popcorn on the floor. It looked great because it didn't look like someone had dropped a tub. It looked like someone had repeatedly tipped tubs on the floor. It was great.
Well, then you were able to have your "what's this?" outrage moment.
I'll be straight with you. I would have ate the top 3 or 4 layers of the. Because a lot of it hadn't touched the car, but it was sitting on all the
As far
popcorn.
as you know, it might have spilled off somebody's jacket. There might be a
Somebody's
person
blue
who's-
jacket.
yeah.
Someone who's dressed up for the Peter Rabbit film on their own.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
And I watched Sing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes.
He's my faithful manservant. No, he isn't. He isn't. Suddenly I found myself in a British 1930s novel. I watched, do you know Sing? The animated
Yes, I do.
film
Know it
about a
well.
singing competition.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've seen it now. Well, here's the thing. I've seen it 4 times.
See, I would have guessed
Oh,
you'd
big
seen
wow.
about 900 times.
No, that's my point. It was hard. You know, I think one of the biggest lies in modern society is multiple viewings.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean?
Because it was hard for me to say I'd seen it 4 times. Because the temptation, if you've seen something 4 times, is to say you've seen it 8 times. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh yeah.
When people
Yeah.
say,
I think I do that. I lie.
I've seen Star Wars, I've seen the New Hope, I've seen that. I've seen it like 18 times. No, you've seen it like
Yeah.
5 times. But you can't resist lying about it.
Yeah, I do tell that lie a lot.
Yeah. Never.
you?
I,
Yeah, I'm glad you picked me up
About
on
which
that.
film?
It's
Yeah.
not just you, everybody.
Which film is it, though?
Oh, I lie all no things that when I was like I said, Spinal Tap. I've seen that like a million times. I used to watch it every day.
Well, no one thinks you've seen it a million times, obviously. But when people say I've seen it
50,
9 times, you've seen
Yeah.
you've seen it 3 times.
Right, got you.
That'd be a good text thing, wouldn't it? What would you say the most lied about things are? And let's keep it clean.
Yeah, above the belt.
Breakfast, yeah,
Yeah.
totally above the belt. The most lied about things, but that would be up there. The amount of times you've seen something. Definitely.
Frank, can I ask you a question quickly about Peter Rabbit's clothing choices?
Yeah,
Does he just wear the jacket then?
just a blue jacket.
Okay.
I think it might have been his dad's jacket. His dad, as you may know, was caught by Mr. McGregor, killed and eaten in a pie.
Oh,
That's one of the main strands of Peter Rabbit's
Backstory.
thing. Well, yeah, and also it's sort of pie avoidance
Yeah.
is one of his big motivations throughout the whole thing. It's quite. I was reading Boz Peter Rabbit, and there's a bit where Mr. Bonnie, which I think was Hugh Hefner's stage name, Mr. Bonnie just breaks down a branch off a tree and whips Benjamin Bonnie with it.
Oh.
I've read that a few times to my friends in the S&M community. And we've shrieked with delight.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Anyway, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. We'll be reading some out in a second. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio and email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I'm going to have a drink of water.
You have a drink of water while Emily and I will discuss. I don't know why you came to work in a dog lead today, to be honest. I think that might be why he's...
I came straight from party.
Imagine if Frank had been up all night. Oh. We've had some lovely missives in. I'm going to read this one from Phil, who says, "Morning, Frank and team. Have you heard someone prone to exaggeration?" We should say we were talking earlier, for anyone who's just joined us, Frank was talking about people that lie when they say they've seen a film 9 times or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
actually, can I give you an example of this? I met a friend of mine the other day, and we went into this thing, and she ordered a couple of coffees, and she said something like, there were things like skinny and no chocolate on the top and all these, qualifications. And the woman said, hot chocolate? And she said, no. And then she did it again. And she had to order it 3 times. And when she came out, she said, God, I said, you were very patient. She said 4 times, come on. And I went with it. I was happy that she'd said 4 times.
You went with the lie.
I didn't think 3 times...
Yeah.
fully express the intensity of the experience. It's like in the Bible when they say people live to be 1,000 years. They just mean they were old.
Yeah.
But they just chuck years at it to make it sound.
You're suggesting there's exaggeration in the Bible?
No, I'm suggesting it's a literary technique.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right?
Or buying a modern coffee experience is similar to the Bible.
This is a man who we just went out for a coffee thing, and Al said, "Can I have pouring cream?"
Pouring cream. I always feel a bit American when I ask
before.
for that. Well, if not, you get that horrible spray cream that's
the sort of thing
disgusting.
The late Princess Margaret would have specified.
Yeah,
I like
pouring cream.
She and I are like 2 peas in a pod in our bit of the Venn diagram.
I'm sure I've heard Wild West old timers talk about pouring whiskey. Yeah.
Give me a shot of that pouring cream.
I think pouring whiskey is supposed to be the best stuff, so you don't drink it out the bottle.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, I think Al specifically, if I may be so bold to speak for you,
Sure.
Al, I think he didn't want whipped cream.
Yeah.
Unlike some of your friends.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We're
meanwhile...
going back to Phil's text.
Shall we go over to Phil's
we could do.
house?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, over in Phil's crib, have you heard someone prone to exaggeration being described as, when you go to Tenerife, they've always been to 11-a-reef?
That's good, though. I like it.
Phil adds, my wife Sharon, in brackets, why the brackets, Phil?
Don't know.
Has you, Frank, on her list of if you had to choose 3 dinner guests.
Oh, lovely.
She is undecided on the others. Have a great weekend.
First on the team sheet.
That's good, isn't it?
Well, it is good, unless you're surrounded by 2 other people that could arguably have got on that team sheet.
Yeah,
Every week.
insulting much. So how many people do this show? 3. Just saying.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, why don't you come with me and co-doula?
Yeah.
Come to the birth with me. Pair of you.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Yes. So, by the way, the watching the film several
Rabbit.
times thing. Now that one, the multiple watching thing.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
As I watched it, I thought it's actually quite good practice for life. That multiple repetition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think C.S. Lewis felt that that fear of the same old thing is what's destroyed humanity. It ruins marriages, turns people to heresy, they walk out of good jobs, start doing drugs, just because they. So if you can, really steel yourself to watching the same thing over and over, then it prepares you for life.
Oh.
Good night.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I say, I got a letter from Wisden World, which I'm really hoping is a theme park. That'd be brilliant. You have to, you say you walk in, if it's got a big WG Grace, and you have to walk in between his bat and his
Well, we should say for people that don't know what Wisden is.
Oh,
Frank.
Wisden is I suppose one would call it the Bible of the cricket world. It comes
an
out.
Almanac, isn't it?
It's an almanac, yeah.
All right.
And do you remember Old Moore's almanac?
No.
He used to. It was the predictions for the year. I wonder if it still exists. It was a big list.
People will tell us.
Yeah,
of that.
A big list of predictions. And they used to.
Really?
People just sometimes sell it on the street. It used to be very popular when I was a kid. And there was adverts in it like "Get rich through prayer."
Oh,
So I
yeah.
thought, that can't be right.
Oh, that's handy to know.
Yeah, it worked for me. Anyway, I got a letter from Bill from Wisden World, and he has sent me the new Wisden. And I think of all the things that have been sent me at the show, I can't think of anything I was more excited. And a pristine 2018 Wisden. It just made me think the cricket season's here, and summer and loveliness.
May I ask what's within the almanac? I mean, do they have? Is it just people's past performances? Because I got one of those books.
Well, there's statistical things, but there's also, I think, Andy Zoltzman has written an
very funny
article
man.
about Jimmy Anderson.
He
He's
loves
very
cricket.
much in the cricket world.
Anderson.
now,
Oh,
Andy
it
Anderson.
really is.
Yeah, so there's loads of stuff, and cricketers of the year, and
Will ball tampering be in there, or is that
no, that would unless it's an addendum.
right?
No,
Yeah.
that's just. I think that would have missed the print.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
It's
maybe
not
that's
very
just as
Wisden,
well.
is it?
Yeah,
20 cricket moments you just won't believe.
yeah. Maybe I'll. If you buy it in Australia, the spine's just slightly raised on it. Anyway, that's enough cricket. That's lost half the audience. They
Frank,
hate it when I talk about cricket.
Well, you don't like it when we talk about praise, but I feel in this instance attention must be paid. I believe that's from Death of a Salesman, which is a strange thing to
was
put on
it?
commercial
Really?
radio. Yeah. But I watched Urban Myths, and can I just say I recommend it to everyone. It's so good. And I almost cried with pride. I thought Frank was so brilliant in it. And Don Newton has got in touch to say, I just watched Urban Myths, Johnny Cash and the Ostrich, one of the funniest programmes I've seen in decades. But I like this. You're amazing, Frank. You inhabited the role supernatural ability, which is a brilliant bit of praise.
Oh, well,
Supernatural, Frank.
That's lovely. You know, we don't do praise.
I know
on the
we
show,
don't, but I
thank
had
you.
to.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry,
very good. And
I had
everyone who
to.
wrote in about it, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Should we talk about Justin Bieber's car?
Yes.
Justin Bieber's car. Ooh, I hope no one misheard that. Justin Bieber's car. Ooh, he drives it very far.
Oh, very good.
Ooh,
I wonder if he does.
Accompanied by his mom.
Oh,
He
come
loves his
on.
mother. He loves his mother, doesn't he,
Very
Justin?
good.
Well, she's not going anywhere. She's no fool.
I'm not sure if he does drive it very far. It's a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And it's been in the news this week. I'm not just bringing this up in my role as motoring correspondent. It's been in the news because it appeared to have been spray painted with cash only across
Yes.
the side. And it looked like it had been daubed by some kind of graffiti
Hooligans.
artist.
Great use of daubed,
Thank
FYI.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that is good.
There's only ever graffiti that's daubed or paint. Anything else daubed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent.
And then they think...
There's been a spate of Daubings.
yeah,
Spate of Daubings would be a good band name, wouldn't it?
it would.
That flock of seagulls.
Yeah.
That would be good. And then it turned out that it hasn't been daubed because Bieber himself turned up somewhere wearing what looked like a pair of chinos.
Yeah.
But with the
Not
turnips
very
with-
nice, Gino.
Well, they were
not very-
quite,
they look quite stiff.
Microsoft inventor in the 90s,
They
weren't
looked
they?
quite stiff, like he was wearing chinos made out of like a kind of envelope that
Yeah.
you used to send photographs in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Very
one of those.
good. Do not bend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine getting trousers that said "Do not bend."
Well, his said cash only.
Cash only. This is the.
But Al, what's weird is it looked
But you
like it had
see-
been written on in Sharpie on
Yeah.
the turn
Yeah,
up.
but if he thinks I'm going to write cash only on a pair of trousers, he's going to sort out the worst trousers he's got to write that
makes
on.
sense.
So he thinks, what about those "Do not bend" chinos?
Yeah.
They're always awkward to walk in anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get him used up. That makes sense, actually, now. Yeah,
It
you're
is
right.
it's
Maybe
a
you
weird.
saw your Urban Myths, Frank, and he's doing a bit of ambient PR for it.
What for? Cash only.
That's what he's doing. He's on the side,
course.
Bieber.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought.
Yeah, it's like a viral campaign. It's gone wild.
It's something we should explain what it is, but the fairs is very imminent, and Daisy's not with us today. Sarah's producing, and she's got I don't know, a different edge. Daisy's slightly frightening.
Right.
How would you
and,
describe Sarah?
Sarah is more, you'll get me the sack if you don't stop talking soon. It's that.
Right.
It's that approach. It's more at the Great Depression sort of approach. Body, can you spare me a dime? So let's come back. Let's come back to Bieber because I can't cope with the emotional sway of it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So Bieber and his cash only motif.
The
Yeah.
cash only thing, it comes from a friend of his, is a photographer or something, and cash only is his catchphrase.
Yeah, he seems to just put cash only across existing works of art. So he'll sort of
Joe Termini, I believe he's called.
he'll daub cash only across, for example, e.g. the Mona Lisa.
That's
Yeah.
because the only one he's heard
Just,
of.
yeah, exactly. He's pretty ruthless
Anyone know
on
the
that.
art?
Yeah.
No, I think he actually did that. He literally did write cash only on the
Yeah.
on a photograph of the Mona Lisa.
I think so, yeah.
You know, it has long been my view that photography is the last refuge of the scoundrel.
Has it?
Yeah, because painting is so hard and
Yeah.
photography is so easy.
It is easy, you're right.
I mean, come
Let's
on.
just look at the
Shots
switchboard
man.
for all the photographers texting in immediately.
I know, God bless you. I mean, some people, there are some. You do see some lovely photographs, of course, but
Yeah.
a lot of
That'd be
them
a
are
nice,
a lot of them are on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, you do seem some lovely
I'm
photographs.
brilliant,
But they're not as hard to do as oil paintings. are they?
Also,
No, they're
Al,
not. They're just not.
But don't
just
you
not.
think Frank's review could be nice just outside the photographer's gallery or something? You do see some lovely photographs. Frank
Yeah.
Skinner.
Yeah.
Lovely.
You do, but like I say, that you know, I take some amazing photographs, if I may say so.
Yeah.
It's really arrogant, Frank.
No, it isn't, because I
No.
don't think it's that tricky to do.
These days, especially.
Yeah.
Well, you like you say you take some good photos. Bieber said, because he showed off his tats recently, we should say, he said, I absolutely love art. So obviously he's keen on it, and that's why he's gone down the old cash only route.
By the way, speaking of cash only, what about this for a hot off the press? Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it had a dip.
It was everywhere, wasn't it?
It was
That's all you
everywhere.
heard about was stupid Bitcoin. And now,
How dare you?
and it's just gone. It's
Yeah,
gone
people
from
have
the
stopped
news
talking about it.
completely.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason that people have stopped talking about it is the people that were talking about it thought they had loads of money in it, and then they haven't, and now they're like, actually, it's probably worth not talking
That's
about
more reason for talk about it.
So
People
is it
still talk
devalued?
about Lloyd's.
Bearings.
It's gone. You know what it's gone? It's gone down with the dabbing.
it. Down with the dabbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Don't know
also
that.
gone. When's the last time you see someone dab?
I haven't seen someone dab for a while.
God,
You're absolutely
finished.
right.
Finished.
I'm also intrigued by the car colour choice that Bieber has made. He's gone for
The,
the turquoise.
Turquoise blue, it says in the paper.
Because I associate that with the lovely old three-wheelers from the 70s, if you remember those.
What?
I used to love those cars.
Reliant
Yeah.
Robins.
They were different to Reliant Robins. I think they were called Inva cars. They were for injured servicemen, I think they were for originally.
Oh, yeah.
you remember those?
They were sky blue, weren't they?
They were turquoise. I'm going
Oh,
turquoise.
God.
I don't want to fall out over blue.
I'll tell you why, because they were used by the disabled, and there used to be a big section at Coventry City for people that they could watch the game from those cars.
Oh, really?
And I always thought that's why they were light blue, because
They were
Coventry
Coventry
City
City
had
fans.
really invested in. They'd got a proper area you could park it and watch the match.
Coincidentally, Man City had that as well.
Did they?
No, I don't know if they did, but the same car. I think they were taken off the market. I don't think they were fatalities, but I think they used to burst into flames.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it's not for me.
If you're in a... When you drive down a motorway, if you see a car with fire on it, though, that is... As long as everyone's
Yeah.
got out, because often everyone's got out and they're just standing looking at it,
Yeah,
like people at a bonfire. Brilliant.
that is good.
That is
You're right.
brilliant. I once saw a caravan. I don't think we should have best road accident.
No, that's a terrible idea.
No, but no one was hurt in this. Because
Yeah.
the car was fine, but what had happened was the caravan had come off the back.
Oh.
And the caravan looked like it had flipped. And it said, oh, you know those sardine cans?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the top
yeah.
of it. And there was a fabulous vapour trail of furniture, books, clothes, right the way.
It'd all come out.
If you was
Oh.
above it, it'd look like a tadpole, I imagine. Or the head of the tadpole would be the remains of the caravan. And then the belongings would be the spindly, slightly see-through tail.
Ah.
There you go.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
245 has texted, Frank, nobody is dabbing anymore. The kids are all flossing now.
No, I said it's gone.
But they said they're flossing now.
I'm glad to hear they're
Flossing,
flossing.
as
They're
in,
flossing. I don't know. I imagine it's
I'm looking
dental
to the younger
hygiene
people.
The
thing.
young people in the room don't know.
No, I think it must be some sort of dance move that looks a bit like flossing. Remember those striptease artists used
Yeah.
to run a feathered boa?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was a bit like dry yourself down with a towel.
It was
as
a
I
bit
always
like
called
that,
it,
yeah. Yes.
Frank,
There's nowhere to go
I'm
on
so
that one.
sorry. I'm going to change the subject. You know the reason that Bieber's on a bit of a sabbatical?
Yeah.
Do you know this?
Isn't
Yes,
he,
because
Do
he
you remember?
cancelled his tour due to illness.
Well, I tell you what
unforeseen.
he's now said.
Wasn't it?
Oh, was he?
He said, I want my mind, heart and soul to be sustainable.
Yeah.
That's the reason he's given.
I agree
Fair
with
It
enough.
said in the paper that I read he was looking after his health and his Christianity. That was what he was...
We follow the
In that
Nazarene.
order. That's the modern world for you.
Maybe.
Yeah, but he's well enough to be out.
Cycling. He's
Yeah.
going to the spin cycle classes.
Yeah, is it that?
I don't get the point.
Well, he's got a new girlfriend, Baskin Champion.
Is she?
But it's one of those names
really
that you
good on a
love, Frank, that
Sunday.
you always see in the
that
Daily
is-
Mail.
that is
Baskin
brilliant.
Champion.
Baskin Champion. It's not a million miles from Dunkin' Donuts. But interesting, that artist and the no charge. What is he called?
Joe Termini.
Yes.
Termini.
What's his
It's Italian, I
catchphrase?
think.
Cash
Cash
only.
only.
Cash only.
Bieber met him after the bloke was attacked by a shark.
No.
Yeah, that was how they met. In a shark recovery.
Did you read this in
unit.
How We Met in the Guardian magazine on,
Yeah,
on a
exactly.
weekend?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's a picture of Bieber, a picture of the artist, and a picture of the shark, as if he was some sort of matchmaker. Yeah, the shark is. I don't know. It'd be a sort of a dating agency figure.
Cupid's bow.
Yeah, but isn't it funny how things bring people together?
It is.
Shark attacks.
And the irony is, of course, a Baskin shark is a well-known breed of shark.
Oh, yes. He's shark mad.
I don't know, is it a breed or a genre?
Shark.
Yeah.
Bieber.
But what a great way to meet. I mean, what was he doing in a shark recovery ward? Visiting. Do you think he was doing that visiting thing that celebrities do?
Must have
Oh, I
been.
don't know.
I mean, how many people
quite
are in a
specific.
shark recovery ward?
It's quite
One of the
specific.
few wards in modern world in empty beds, I should think. There can't
think
be
they've
that
got-
many.
You think there's a separate ward for shark attacks?
I think it said he met him in a shark recovery ward.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at that.
Well, I am. I'm
Specialist.
fine with that.
Yeah.
That seems fine to laugh at. It's an
no,
absurd
it's all-
idea that there's a
it's all
shark
right.
recovery ward.
It's all right to laugh at that. Get
Yeah.
a fin on the bedpan. Bit of purchase. Yeah, so that's how he met him. Cash only, the cash only man.
Yeah. Joe Termini.
Yeah.
That's
Is
his
that
name. Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Well, I'm saying it because it's Italian, I would imagine.
Termini?
I would say Termini, like Napoli.
Yeah.
Right.
But what do I know? Quite a
Okay.
lot, it turns out.
Yeah. I bet he was a bit worried about nominal
Determined.
number termination when he's been attacked by the shark and he's got Termini is his surname. He thought, I knew this would happen.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Oh no! I tell you what, I read on Mail Online, which I try to avoid.
Do you?
Yeah, this is MAIL.
Yeah.
I read an article about Bieber and the car and all that thing, trying to work out the whole what was happening and who Termini was, etc. And they have a habit in the Daily Mail, which I find they do this thing of they call him Bieber, Justin Bieber, and the next time they mention, they call him, say, Justin.
Yeah.
And then they start coming up with other things to
Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
repeating them. So, no, I've seen them do it. I know they do it. But anyway, but in this article, they've gone... So they say, they call him the Canadian crooner.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they love
So
it.
they say the Canadian crooner has bought this car because... And then the March for Our Lives activist...
Is
Didn't
it?
even know what that was.
Didn't know if that was on his CV.
But fancy chucking that.
That's the gun control thing, is it?
Oh, is it?
March for Our Lives. Was that recent? You know, the
Yes.
kids, they all marched.
I think you might
I think
be
that's
right.
what that is.
That's what he...
Though it
That's why,
sounds like the title of an album or something, doesn't it?
that's why he bought the non-folding trousers to keep him up during the march. Apparently he's not. The Friends hitmaker. Is Friends one of his...
Must be.
What?
has he got a hit called Friends?
Oh, I thought you meant it was something to do with the sitcom.
popular
right? The
sitcom.
popular 90s sitcom.
No. Then he was called the ex-boyfriend of Selena Gomez. I mean, this is...
Yeah.
We're walking into... It's becoming a CV. And my favourite, at one point in the article, he was referred to as the tattoo-sleeved millennial. Wow!
I mean, that doesn't narrow it down much, does it?
No,
I know.
but for goodness, I think
Yeah.
we should encourage this on the show.
Yeah.
What do you think of the miserly Matt Mitherer, Alan Cochrane? What about Chive Challenge Shard of the Chattering Classes? Emily Dean?
Oh, she's definitely
I'm-
chive challenged.
Oh, and I'm so child of the chattering class. I love that. What about you, Frank? Have you come up with one for you?
Oh,
Come on.
I'll do it.
bit of a git. Can't just go full git. It was
No,
a bit of a
it's
git.
Yeah, I must look up some because I am very occasionally on Mail Online. I think what
How are
what
they
they've
just...
called me.
Yeah.
Three Lions singer.
Yeah, it'd be something like that. I was once introduced by Bob Mills. You know Bob Mills, the comic, introduced me as the comedy king from the old Bull Ring.
Oh,
Lovely.
that.
Sometimes as well, Frank, you might get a TV funny man in paragraph
yeah,
3.
Yeah, I haven't had that for a while. What about Chris Evans, Madcap broadcaster?
Oh, he's definitely a madcap broadcaster.
Oh, marvellous. But yeah, I mean, sleeved as well. Tattoo sleeved, the millennial.
Yeah. Didn't have follower of the Nazarene in there.
No,
No.
wouldn't that been great if it
Yeah.
had that?
They really should. They should have. They missed the trick there.
Yeah.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Anyway, I also think he didn't look quite as handsome as he used to
He's
look.
growing his hair out. He's in between.
Do you think? Is
I
he?
think he's in between hairstyles.
Well, he's doing
Where's
that
his
thing.
beard? Where's his beard? Oh, we found out, didn't we, where Bozzy's
Yeah,
beard
we
was?
did.
Apparently, he's like a sort of a Play-Doh fun factory, and the Play-Doh is still sitting in there. You just have to turn the thing, and out it comes.
And that happens.
Yeah, it was to
later
do
on.
with his hormones.
Follicle,
The
yeah.
increase in testosterone during
But
the
they're in
teenage
there.
years.
The hair follicles are like eggs sitting. You know, in a sci-fi film when they go into a cave and there's giant ant eggs.
Yeah.
It's like that.
I feel we might be tiptoeing back into last week's guessing science territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've had, I mean,
vague
866
science.
did
my
say it's
speciality.
hormonal changes in teenage years that cause
I
hair
can't
growth.
tell him that. He's 5.
You could tell him he'll know.
I need broad strokes.
You should have heard some of the things my parents told me. You could tell him he'll know he's a young man when the beard starts.
Can
Yeah.
I tell you another another question he asked me. He said, why isn't a unicorn... Wouldn't it be better if a unicorn was called a unihorn? And I thought, that's brilliant.
That is good.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
He's like an avant-garde poet.
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
And what did you say? Yeah, it would be better.
I said, actually, it would. And,
Good.
And then I thought, does he know that uni means one?
Yeah. From unicycle, I would guess.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking, Unabomber.
All right. That was Una.
Una. What does Una mean then? Una Stobbs?
Yeah.
Wasn't her, was it?
No.
Was it? And what if she'd have been arrested? That would have been
But I think it's
awful.
right that you said, yes, it would be better. I think it's good to tell the infants that the world is flawed and ideally, encourage the idea that they can improve it.
Well, a unicorn.
Make that change.
Then,
Be the change.
unicorn
Be
would
the
be
change,
like...
be the change you want to see in the world, Hal. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Is that
Frank.
Gandhi? Is it me and Gandhi?
David Gandy said that to me, yeah.
David. Yeah.
Is that what Gandhi said?
David Gandy said to me, be the change you want to see in the
He
world.
didn't.
That was Mahatma, not David.
It's one out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to
Oh,
say.
sorry,
No, that's the
Frank.
trouble with the elderly. If you interrupt. Yeah, it's all right. There'll be other good stuff
Oh, yeah.
on the way. I can feel it. I can feel it in the drain pipe of my consciousness. In the drain pipe of my consciousness, you live like a fungus of love. I might write a couple of protest numbers. Well, that was more of a love song, wasn't it?
Mm.
Then you could be called the Brummie protest singer
Yeah.
on your
Yeah.
bio. That'd be lovely.
Yeah, it would be something like the angel-faced activist, wouldn't it? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, I might work on the first bit.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website, please.
We were discussing just before the Daily Mail descriptions of, for example, Justin Bieber. A classic one would be Kylie Minogue, the pint-sized pop star.
Ah, yes.
Always.
Lovely, Al.
Always.
Haven't
Apparently...
even gone metric on it.
What about, do you think Frank gets...
Very Daily Mail.
Al, I thought of another Frank one.
Oh, yeah.
The Three Lions hit maker.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
272 has texted, Frank's referred to as the actor in one recent Mail Online article.
Wow.
The
shut
people have
up.
not forgotten Perkins.
No, that's good news.
Yeah.
That's just as good as TV Funny Man.
I
for you,
certainly
isn't it?
haven't. I actually got a picture of me as Perkins over my son's bed. Just so he remembers.
Yeah, he'll know.
Yeah, well, there's time when he thinks I'm a rubbish dad. Just remember that.
Yeah. Also, 780 has texted, Dear Inquirer, Old Moore's Almanac does
yes.
still exist.
Does it?
And they sell it in my local newsagents. That's from Amanda in Sydenham.
I didn't see that coming.
Oh, very good. And she's just put Sydenham, so if we just go in all newsagents local to Sydenham, we'll eventually get a Old Moore's Almanac for you.
Used to be a gig at the Greyhound pub in Sydenham.
Any good?
Hosted by Reeves and Mortimer.
Really?
Yeah. And I remember I went on and I said I noticed that the Greyhound on the sign is couchant rather than rampant, which is it's a reference to heraldic animals, whether they're lying down or risen up.
Wow.
I never got them back. I don't think.
You did that at the
I
top of the
started. I
gig?
started with that.
Really bold choices there.
Well, I thought they'll like that because it's about the sign outside the pub.
And
but-
they didn't.
Yeah.
No, they didn't like
The
that.
people of Sydenham weren't out for heraldic animal
they weren't.
humour.
Went out for a
For a-
couchant shout out.
No heraldic references at Sydenham. Yeah, so that's the end of that.
I'm staggered to hear that. Frank, we've been talking about Bieber's life motto, current, we'll say, life motto, which appears to be cash only.
Has that become his life motto?
Well,
then now?
it's everywhere, come on.
He's got it on his trousers.
It's his slogan, isn't it?
Oh, well, hasn't he? Has he done a bit of a "I'm having that" to his mate? Is this his mate's
maybe.
slogan?
But maybe he's trying to promote his mate's work with it. I don't know. But he's adopted it, definitely, yeah.
I'm worried about that.
What about this for a cake and hot springs?
Cake and hot springs.
Yes.
What, as a motto?
That is the secret to life, according to... Now, this is one of my faves this week, so I want to talk about him. The world's oldest man.
Ah, the world's oldest.
Guinness
Masazo
Book of
Nanaka.
Records.
Pardon?
Masazo Nanaka.
Okay.
Kuna Matata.
112 years young.
It's a wonderful thing. Do-do-do-do. Means no worries.
It doesn't mean no
for
worries.
the rest of your day.
There aren't many of them, let's be honest.
Yeah. That's what he's saying, though, isn't it?
No, but he's 112. I mean,
He
come
is.
on. I think even he would.
Hey, it's a problem-free
Oh, yeah.
philosophy. What's his name?
Masazo Nanaka. Come on.
Brilliant.
He's turned 112.
Wow.
Now, what I loved about this, it said he was born months before Einstein published the theory of relativity and shortly before the Wright brothers. The first flight. I don't know why I found that so funny.
They always do that with
Yeah.
old people, don't they?
Yeah.
I was born less than 12 years after Hitler died.
Wow.
I know what you're thinking. Dodged a bullet there.
I'm just glad there was such a gap.
Yeah, exactly. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, Masazo Nanaka,
Yeah.
I like the sound of him.
Do you?
Well, do you know why? I think he might be a bit of a git.
Right.
Okay.
I do.
I got that vibe as well.
Well,
I think if you're 112,
You're
gonna
allowed
get
to
a
be.
bit grumpy, aren't you?
I
Yeah.
say it with immense admiration, obviously. But his daughter, he was saying, it was due to cake and hot springs. This is what he put his sort of
What does he
youthfulness
mean by
down to.
hot springs? It
It's a stripper that
naturally-
he went out with like
Ah.
20 years ago.
Okay, well, she's given him a new lease of life.
Yeah.
Lovely.
He said in the interview, yeah, I owe my longevity to hot springs.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway,
She's very good flossing,
yeah.
which you need at that age, I should think.
Actually, he isn't directly quoted in any of the interviews.
No, you're
They've
right,
spoken
Al.
for him.
You're
the
right.
only thing that he says in the interview is yum. Like the only actual quote. I feel like they're patronising him a little bit.
Yeah.
The only quote is yum. There's no, this is a bit of wisdom. It's all said by other people for him.
Well,
he likes this, he
his
likes
daughter
that.
says, if we give him a meal and he doesn't like it, he'll secretly give it to the pets.
Yes.
And then she says, the reason I think he's lived so long is because he's stress-free. Because if there's anything he doesn't like, he tells you about it. I said, well, get your story straight, Rob.
Yeah.
Why is he giving it secretly to the
Yeah.
pets?
But I like that he tells you about
One
it.
of the pets is 108. So
Yeah.
it might
Yeah.
be the diet.
But I like that he tells them about it. I think that's one of those nice euphemistic ways of suggesting that a family member is a little bit bad-tempered.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Which I like.
I think my my most intriguing sentence in the whole article I read was
Yeah.
it said that the world's oldest woman title is
Yeah.
currently vacant.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, they haven't found me yet.
There's got to be a world's
I mean, I'm
oldest.
over here.
There's got to be a world's oldest woman. It can't be vacant, can it?
Oh, yeah.
They've got to know them and have it verified, though, presumably.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you just pick the oldest woman you know. Surely you don't leave it unoccupied, that
No,
title.
because
Well, and there's crowns to be handed out and
No,
cake to
do
be
they
eaten.
get crowns?
Yeah.
I
I
hope
don't
they
think
get
they're
a-
actual crowns.
Do they get a sash like Miss World. That'd be
like
brilliant.
Miss
That would be
Alabama,
good.
Baskin champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Al. I did feel they were slightly putting words into his mouth.
Yeah. I mean, he
Well, if he doesn't like them, they'll just give them to the pet.
yeah.
They said he'd had a party, didn't they, with cake, and that's why he'd said yum.
He said yum, yeah.
But surely you should have a party every day.
Yeah, every day's a
Because
climb.
every day becomes the world's oldest man.
Yeah, if he's
Yes.
112, yeah.
I mean, it's a
good point.
very difficult record to write down. I mean, I've got the current Guinness Book of Records, and of course, it's already out of date as far as the world's oldest man. I can't keep
Well,
changing it
that's the
with
thing.
marginalia.
No. He likes, said his hobbies are watching sumo wrestling and samurai dramas.
I'm in.
I love the samurai drama. I thought of you when I read that out.
I feel like that is a description of somebody I would get on with.
Yeah.
I
He
lo-
speaks his mind
I
and he
love
watches samurai
yeah.
dramas. I'm in.
I love a samurai drama. I'm not
Yeah.
sure about sumo.
Oh, it's all right.
I went and saw a schoolboy sumo once,
Did you?
outdoor schoolboy sumo in Japan.
Really?
Yeah, and every kid was like I was when I was about 7, just totally skinny,
Right.
little school kid. Apart from one kid who was absolutely mini sumo. I mean, he was massive, this
Right.
kid.
Yeah.
Really, what's the word nowadays? He was a fat kid.
Right. Yeah, I don't
And he
think that
had-
is
I
the
don't
word,
think it's
but-
that.
Is that the word? Okay, let me see.
Rotund.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And
He loved his
was,
curves.
He was a,
You could probably get
a
away with
proper
Rubenesque.
sumo child. And he had the hairstyle, and he picked up these thin kids, and he just chucked them around like you chuck dull action men around. I mean, he was,
Excellent.
you know the horrible neighbour in Toy Story 1. He was like that. I mean, and he beat them all, of course. Not only did he beat them, and he dismissed them like gnats. And then the teachers got in at the end, and they beat the hell out of this kid. And I said to the translator, is this all right with it? And she said, honey, he must learn that, he can't, he's not the best. He must learn that.
Brilliant.
I'm surprised you didn't say very cruel.
It was. I was a bit shocked by it.
That's
The
great.
teachers looked like they were loving it, really throwing him about. And he was like, I don't know if you've ever seen a Mr. Michelin man fall off the top of an oncoming lorry on the motorway. It was like that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I think the big plus of being the oldest man in the world is it's a record. You know what they say, like with Man City at the moment, they say the thing is you don't have to worry about other results.
Yeah.
As long as you keep winning.
Right, yeah.
And it's one of those records that as long as you keep going, you don't have
Yeah.
no one is going to overtake you. It's not like cycling
Yeah.
where you have to go up and down the track to stop someone from
Or
overtaking.
do that weird thing of constantly looking behind your shoulder,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
find a bit creepy, and I know we've discussed that.
Well, they were worried because it says in the article last year he was ill. Oh no, last year he was 111, sorry.
Excellent work,
Order!
Order.
Excellent. No, it's right. But how great to just know as long as you keep going, the record will remain yours. No one's going
Your
to.
money's safe. Salzo Nanaka.
It's not overtakers you need to worry about.
Oh, very good.
Everyone's jumping in now.
Oh, your turn, Em.
Well, I don't have a fabulous pun to add, but I do have a word or two on his sartorial choices.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I liked what the guy wore. I liked it. He went for, because I often do think about what my look will be when those
When
years
you're
come.
112.
Yeah, or maybe I won't last to 112. Had a busy
Well,
past,
apparently we ought.
but there was a lot going on there.
But I think some of that stuff acts as a preservative.
Oh, that's good to know. Google some of that stuff. But I often think, what will my look be when I get to that age? And I know Karl Lagerfeld, as I believe I've shared with you before, says sweatpants are a sign of defeat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's his life motto. But I liked him because I thought he struck the balance, Masazo Nanaka, absolutely right. He had a puffer, a sleeveless puffer,
he had a
funnily
puffer?
enough. Yeah.
Oh, did he?
In a
Very
sort
on
of
trend
bronze
today's show.
tan shade.
Yeah.
But just two of the buttons done up. And then a nice...
He had a buttoned puffer as
Yes.
opposed to a zip.
Yeah, he had two buttons and then
See, well, that's great when you got spare time in the day.
a sort of to do those buttons up.
Because what else is he doing?
Yeah, but it took him 2 hours,
Oh,
to be
great.
fair.
Just
Watching
samurai dramas.
Watching the samurai. Another,
And eating
yet
cake.
another baby cart movie. baby cards are popular, samurai.
He had a shirt, a kind of 80s detailed pattern shirt, which I liked. And then I think he did go for a slight sweatpant thing on the legs. I wasn't looking at that. It was a Peter Rabbit thing. I was just focusing on the top.
Yeah.
But then some nice comfy socks. And he looked natty, which I liked.
Natty.
Yeah, he hadn't let it all go.
No, good
So
on him.
you could have worse role models, clothes-wise, than the world's oldest man.
Well, okay. I think, why don't we have next week, we all have to come dressed as the world's oldest man. I've already got a large part of the outfit. Of course, the face. I can bring the face.
I'm going to have all my teeth removed.
Yeah.
I'm sorted.
Yeah. Will you marry me?
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
On the subject of people looking old, we've got an email here that's been in the corner for a little while. Long-term reader, first-time email cornerer. I'll save the platitudes, but I've been listening to the show for at least 6 years and have been particularly enjoying the Whatever Happened To section. With this in mind, I offer the following. Whatever happened to people looking their age? One cannot simply rely on fashion selections, technological abilities, wrinkles, or even by the age of their children. Being in a considerable age gap relationship myself, I realise I do not help this problem.
Also considerable.
Well, we don't know which direction they're in the age gap relationship.
No, that's true.
This is from... Yeah.
It's Have a Marvellous Weekend, Rosie.
Rosie.
Yeah.
So...
Could be a
Either
young
way.
lady or
Let's hope this hasn't been in the corner too long. Oh, dear. Anyway, fingers crossed.
I wholeheartly agree with this. I think it is very difficult to tell these days.
Oh, it is.
And in fact, I have an anecdote.
Oh.
I was on stage
gather
the
round.
other
jingle
night.
for that.
Hold on, I'm just going to...
Alan's anecdote.
Let me make myself
No,
comfortable.
it's not a long anecdote. But
I'm
it is
just gathering by the fireside. Put another log on, Frank.
it's a frustration of mine. I have some material in my current touring stand-up show. Tickets still available, and that's not what it's called. But the next one should be.
Cash only.
Mine's
but
called Considerable Age Gap Relationship.
But there's a bit in it where it's quite useful to speak to somebody young. So I'm on stage the other night in Stafford. I glance around. I can't see anybody young, and I'd forgotten momentarily that I'd already spoken to a lady on the front row who was 23. So I should have just spoken
Legend.
to her. But I forgot.
You can't think of everything. You've got
I'd
other
forgotten.
things on your mind.
I was trying to get to the next lot of jokes, and I glance around and I say to a lady in row 3, I go, "Oh, how old are you? Do you mind me asking?" 55.
Wow.
She said 55, and I'd already said, you look quite young. How old are you? 50? I mean, that's...
But there's a certain gloominess when you're looking at an audience as well. They look a bit...
There is.
It's
There is
very...
coming back at me, there is, yeah.
It's very it's very flattering. Or I mean, we've all had shocks of seeing people in the audience and then seeing them in the bright light of a hotel room.
No, we haven't.
Haven't we? Oh. Just me then.
Legend!
Well, you see, when I was a young man and people used to get old, there used to be a moment where I don't know quite what happened, but they would change the way they dressed. They would...
Right.
Well, we've discussed this. They would go to what I call the I have given up shop.
They would go to the beige stage.
Yeah.
And suddenly, people who never wore beige, ever, would have beige clothes on. And those...
And where would they buy them from, Frank? Maybe the back pages of the Sunday
Well,
Supplement?
they're still pushing it. I mean, if you was to look in the Daily Mail today, I would suspect, this is the newspaper, not the online version, you would see trousers which are not called trousers, they're called slacks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Slacks.
I don't know. What is the difference between trousers and slacks?
8, 12,
15. But they've got like an elasticated waisting and they're beige. So there still must be some beige pensioners out there. But it used to absolutely, people would suddenly start wearing beige. And I always thought that they'd have white hair, beige clothes, they stop wearing the red lipsticks. Like they're steadily preparing for the transparent creaminess of ghosthood.
But when they're ghosts, Frank, will they be in the slacks or maybe in a 50s prom dress?
Well, you know my big problem with ghosts.
Is their clothing choices.
How do they have clothes? How do the clothes make it across the Great Divide?
Yeah.
Because I can see an argument. There's something about the spirit, the body, whatever. But why a pair of acrylic slacks should have an afterlife?
Yeah, that doesn't seem
I
fair.
don't want
does it?
naked ghosts.
Well, I think people would be less frightened of them if they were naked.
Some of them seem to take a few possessions as well, like some pins nez or...
Yeah.
You think, well, what? Hang on.
Chains.
What else are you
I know they get the
taking?
chains there. Sorry. I don't think you can take them through departures.
Do they wear hats, ghosts?
You have to get them in duty free on the other side.
But like spectacles and hats, like what is
That's right.
this?
Yes.
Is it like a luxury item on Desert Island Discs or something?
They're only allowed two things, hence sometimes the hat and the spectacles.
maybe.
But the spectacle, you would
Especially
think
the
one
17th
thing that
century
would
ghost.
come from ghosthood, surely, would be a sort of a innate laser eye surgery that you can have a nearsighted ghost. Of course, if you're a ghost, doesn't matter if you walk into things.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had a text from 240 saying, how do ghosts get clothes that they were not buried in? Some may have been cremated but still have clothes when they haunt.
Yeah.
I like the idea that they haunt. They do it as an activity.
Well, they do haunt. There's no getting around it.
It's not like on their to-do list, is it? Like they've set an agenda.
That's all
I
they've
think-
got to do.
I always think it's imposed on them. I don't think it's a choice thing.
Well, I think it's how people respond to them. They find them haunting, but they're not. I don't think the ghosts are saying, yeah, I'm going to go and do a bit of haunting.
It's not an activity as far. The ghosts are just being.
Yeah.
No, I think they're
exactly.
told. I think it's like being night watchman.
What,
I
you think they're on a rota?
Frank thinks it's a job.
I do. I think they all have to do their share of going out and making sure everything's okay.
Like a rota.
Going
Yeah.
upstairs or downstairs for the lucky
Yeah.
ones, and checking out the old place. That's my view. That's why sometimes you see them without big Alsatian ghosts. Do you get animal ghosts? You do, don't you? I think I've heard of. Yeah.
Do you?
I think it's that
Very
thing,
quiet, aren't they?
That thing about the beige period.
Well, someone, 619. Let's call a 619 a 619. It says old beige pensioners, which I think is fabulous.
Yeah,
actually.
it's
BPs.
well, the good thing about that is that unlike the ghosts, I think if the pensioners took off their beige clothes, they were still beige underneath.
Yeah.
But there was a sort of what you could call a beige decompression chamber, which they dwelt in between the life of the younger person and the other side, if you were.
Okay.
And I think since they've stopped doing that, people are living longer. It's almost like the Grim Reaper finds it hard to spot the elder. It's got to be some... It's too
you
much of a
think?
coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they've managed to extend the sort of conveyor belt of life so that the skip is a little bit further away than it...
Well, Masar Zonanaka, I find it interesting to note what colour was he wearing?
Bright
No,
red, was it?
No.
Not beige, was it?
Bronze/beige.
Oh,
was it? Oh, well, he's not long for this world.
He's on the
I'm
run.
not sticking my neck out there. I think it's fair to say.
Spoiler alert. The 112-year-old man.
Did I ever tell you when the oldest man in Britain, who I think was 107, when he died, he used to still go to his local bowls club, and they interviewed the captain of the bowls club. And they said to him, what did you think when you got the news? He said, well, they found me up. He said, I couldn't believe it. I thought, you really are a man who's very, very hard to convince. You're a sceptical man. No, yeah, something funny. I bet he said, something funny gone on there.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Anyway, yes, so I do think people live longer since we got rid of the beige. But you're suggesting that people still...
It's hard to know, though. It's hard to know.
Everything is hard
the
to
rule
know.
is.
Let's
Why
face
don't you
it.
get ghost dinosaurs, says 104.
That
Another
is
good
a
question.
brilliant. I
Come
remember
on.
hearing
It's a
someone on
great
a
one.
radio debate. They had a debate about whether the Loch Ness monster existed.
Yeah.
And there was stories about it could be this a dinosaur that had lived on, and someone said, "I think it's a ghost." And you thought, mate, you're already people aren't taking people with you already is hard enough, but don't make it a ghost. You're just pushing it too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ghost dinosaurs, though. Interesting.
Can I tell you something I learnt this week? I was watching the Masters, the golf.
yeah.
You know the golf.
Yeah, the Masters.
You watched the
yeah.
golf?
I watched a bit of
He,
golf.
he loves all sports.
Do you?
I was on holiday. Yeah, I did watch a bit of golf.
I didn't know you watched golf.
I
This is
wouldn't
like
say
a
I watched
different
golf,
Frank.
but I did watch golf.
Don't
this
back
week.
down now.
That means
To be
you
honest,
do watch golf.
After I'd rolled down the grass bank, I had to convalesce for 48 hours.
Couldn't
And
get back up to turn the telly over.
I was watching, and golf.
Invalids TV.
The origin of golf is that it comes from the Netherlands, which was Holland when I was a kid. I don't know when that change happened.
What's Roy so angry about?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's always Holland.
Late
The
review.
football team, Holland are in the World Cup final. Oh, Netherlands. Anyway, so it came from Holland, and then it was picked up by the Scots in particular.
Oh, yeah.
And in those days, they didn't even play it on a course. They'd put like a local building, and you had to hit the ball at that, and it was who could get it the closest. Right. But so it came. Do you know what it was called?
No.
Now, bear in mind, things change. I realise over time, because of things change. What that game was called? Golf. Why bother changing that? So it arrived as golf. And somebody thought, oh no, I don't like that. What about golf?
too
Well, we
tricky.
might-
Can't get my mouth around golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, golf.
That'll
Yeah,
be
that's
easier.
much better. I like that a lot.
The
Yeah, let's
difference
stick
it's
with that.
made.
Oh, well, I'll be glad to see the back of golf. I don't know about you. Unbelievable. Anyway, it's been lovely talking to you today. I'm going to go home and wallow in wisdom.
Oh, nice.
I'm bringing golf back.
Yeah, exactly. I might go and watch the golf on my
Yeah.
really old black and white telly. Anyway, thank you for listening. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.